Hi guys, what's up? Zax here. Today we are here with a 2014 prediction video. Now, we did one of these about a year ago, I think, and we're going to do a similar one today, going through all the teams, the tracks, and all that sort of stuff. And as with last year, we're going to be doing a video with Alex Stott. Would you like to say hello?
Hello everyone.
So, today we're going to start off with Red Bull, aren't we? So, next year obviously they've got Ricciardo and Vettel, so how do you think they're going to get on? You know, is it going to be different to maybe Webber, and would we see the still number 2 situation and everything that we've had this year, or would you expect it to be different?
I'm not sure actually, but I think they'll still be up the top. I know that lots of F1 fans are hoping they're not, because they've been very dominant, especially in 2013. But Ricciardo, of course, is a new quantity compared to Vettel. He's never raced in the same car, so it'll be interesting to see how well he does. But apparently, when Webber was there, Webber was given all the trainee mechanics, from what I heard. So there still might be a number 2 thing, but I think they're probably dying it down or it's gone, because I think it'll be a bit unfair on Ricciardo.
Yeah, they need to sort of give, at least for the first couple of races, just give it sort of the right sort of attitude to give them both the equal opportunity. Because Webber said himself that he lost, chasing Vettel for it, a couple of years ago. So Webber always sort of knew that he was never going to be really matching Vettel, but they need to treat Ricciardo with a bit of respect here. They've been nurturing him for like 10 years or something.
Do you think Vern should have got the seat? Or?
I think initially I did, because I sort of, at the time I sort of supported Vern a little bit more than I did Ricciardo, but ever since it was announced, Ricciardo's done quite a lot better than Vern. What do you think about that?
Well, personally, I think that Ricciardo isn't like a shining talent like Vettel was. Back in his Toro Rosso days. Yeah. Because Ricciardo's been matched by Vern. It's maybe a little bit better, but not significantly better. And Buemi and Alguersuari, who were sacked a couple of years ago, they're kind of like those, because I think Buemi and Alguersuari arrived too early. Yeah. Because they missed Webber's retirement, because Webber was still in the sport. So I don't think, of course, I don't think he'll match Vettel in terms of. I think he'll be better in qualifying in comparison.
I know what you mean, yeah.
But he'll probably be outdone by Vettel, I would have thought, for most of the season. If he does outdo Vettel, then I'll be very impressed. But yeah,
So should we move on to the next team? We're going to sort of briefly cover them all, because we could go in detail about this, and this could be like a 4-hour video, I'm sure. But if you want to leave any comments and stuff, guys, just leave it down in the comments, and we'll try and read through them and reply to them when the video goes up. So, do you want to talk about the next team? We'll start it off.
So Mercedes. Now, this is expected to be the team with the biggest challenge to Red Bull next season, especially with all the funding behind Mercedes, because Mercedes is a rich car manufacturer anyway, so they don't really need extra funding. They're kind of like Red Bull, who seem to have really deep pockets, along with Ferrari. They don't really need the extra sponsors, although they have them, they don't really need them. Of course, the only lineup on the grid that's been confirmed, that's the same as last year, so a bit of continuity there with Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Most people say they were surprised at Nico Rosberg this season. Would you say so?
Is it surprised in a good way or a bad way?
Good way.
I think I've got to agree with that. On the most part, he did keep up with Hamilton. I think, to be honest, Rosberg had a couple more retirements. Yeah. So I would have put them about equal. Obviously, there were some races when Hamilton was better, some races where Rosberg was better, but they were very close, and I think it's the first year where we've sort of truly respected how fast Rosberg is.
Were you surprised by Mercedes in 2013?
To be honest, I don't think I was I don't think I was that surprised. The year before they'd won a race, they've sort of progressed quite well since 2010. They've sort of done better each year. I think 2011 was a bit dipped downwards, but apart from that, they've got better each year. So next year, if they keep on that form, they're definitely a championship contender, in my opinion. Well, this year, I should say.
Yeah. I think they will be a championship contender. But of course, we don't know who. We think that it's going to be Red Bull and Mercedes at the top, but with Ferrari as well. But I'm not sure about the other teams or whether they can challenge them, because they don't, like Lotus don't seem to have the money.
Well, they had to take 25-30 million from Maldonado. Which
Yeah, paid Vaser, isn't
it's
it?
quite a bit. I mean, I don't think. Oh, we'll move on to Lotus in a minute, and I'll talk about that. But so should we move on to Ferrari, which is the next team
Yeah,
on
sure.
the grid? So Ferrari obviously next year picking up Kimi Raikkonen from Lotus, who obviously hasn't really been paid, or I think he's been paid a bit now, but through the season, I don't think he was paid at all. You know, not really that much. So I think that was a big thing for Kimi Raikkonen. I mean, it's all well and saying that he wants to move to Ferrari, but I think he wants to get paid as well, which is obviously he knows Ferrari have got probably the deepest pockets out of everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe not actually. Maybe Mercedes and Red Bull probably maybe a little bit more, but yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. I mean, that's the big thing that everyone's talking about really is Raikkonen versus Alonso, and if they have a good car, I think they've got a pretty good chance of going for the title. I mean, both of them can pull out a bit more out of the car than it's really possible, if you know what I mean. So what do you think about it? Do you think that's the battle to look out for? Or?
Well, the thing is with Ferrari is that there's no young blood there, as in, like Mercedes, they've got two experienced drivers, because Red Bull, although it's got Ricciardo's a bit inexperienced in terms of being a top team.
Yeah.
So I think that Raikkonen will do well against Alonso. I don't think that Alonso will be as ahead as maybe some Ferrari fans and Alonso fans think he will be. But of course, Raikkonen's had all this back surgery, isn't he?
Yeah.
So we'll see how he is once we're there in Melbourne. But Ferrari, they've got the money, but in the past few seasons it seems they haven't been able to develop the car as well as Red Bull or McLaren in terms of 2012 and 2011.
Well, yeah, I think they haven't really had a stellar season since 2008. So, well, 2007, 2008, they were good years, but apart from that, they really haven't done too well in the championship. I mean, 2012 was probably the closest they got.
Yeah.
But then the car wasn't really that good, so.
No.
Yeah, I know. In terms of development and everything, they really haven't been there. I think since 2010, you could say, but I think 2008.
I think 2010 was a bit of an anomaly because of all the reliability problems Red Bull had. I think
they haven't had.
If Red Bull didn't have those reliability problems in 2010, I would have thought they'd cut their 2010 spending off pretty early in the season.
Yeah.
Or earlier in the season, because Alonso was leading, wasn't he? So.
Yeah, for a lot of that season, wasn't he? The last race where he lost it, being stuck behind petrol.
Yeah.
It was petrol, wasn't it? Should we move on to the next team, which would be
Lotus.
So, do you want to start off that then?
Okay, then Lotus E22. Well, this team's had a lot of financial problems. They've had to pick up Maldonado, most would say because of his money, and probably most F1 fans would agree because of his money. Paid Vaser, this Venezuelan bank. Is it a Venezuelan bank?
Yeah. Actually, no. I think it's an oil company.
Oil company.
Oil company or bank.
He brings like 20 to 30 million pounds worth of investment, and of course Grosjean already has Total behind him. Now, interestingly, there's something that I learned very recently, that Lotus hasn't actually announced its engine for next year.
Yeah, that's something I've been a bit confused about too. I think it's the only team to do that as well.
Yeah,
everyone else has got an engine.
Because I mean, most people are expecting Renault, and to be honest, I was expecting Renault, because they were the Renault team, and they've had it ever since.
Yeah.
But I can't. Maybe it's why they're missing the Jerez test, or the Jerez test, sorry. Because they need to fit an engine in, basically. But
I mean, what would you think it would be? Sorry to cut you off. What would you think it would be? So there's Ferrari and Mercedes. Is that the only other two now?
Yeah, because there's no Cosworth.
Yeah.
Well, out of the two, it's probably Mercedes, I would have thought. But I think it will stay as Renault.
Yeah, I think I don't know, a Lotus Ferrari or a Lotus Mercedes just doesn't seem to work as well as a Lotus Renault to me.
How do you think that Maldonado's going to do compared to Grosjean?
Well, we saw in 2012 when he had the car to be in the top 5 in qualifying. He was always top 5 in qualifying.
Yeah.
So I think in pure pace he can match Grosjean. In terms of race pace, I don't think so. It seems to be a bit clumsy still. I mean, he didn't really have that many accidents in 2013.
No.
But I think more 2013 that people remember as in, like, complaining about the team, which was just a bit.
He has a
silly,
terrible
really.
reputation.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate because I think if you got rid of all that, he's actually quite a good driver. But
He has talent. Most
Mm.
people don't accept that because, I mean, you can't win a Grand Prix without talent, especially the way that he did it. You know,
Yeah.
fighting off Alonso. He didn't make a single mistake in Catalonia on that day in 2012. And, well, compared to Grosjean, I think that Grosjean will, like, completely outdo him in terms of point scoring. But I think that Grosjean will be on similar pace to Maldonado. I don't think it'll be that
Mm.
different.
you know, what do you? Sorry to cut you off again.
It's fine.
What would you say the points difference would be if you just had to throw like a ballpoint figure?
Yeah, I would have thought double. Although, of course, I can't just say like 200 or whatever because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the car and how it's going to be. So,
Yeah.
but I think it'll be double the points. Although, you know, if you actually look at the stats, Bottas scored like 4 times the amount of points
Yeah.
Maldonado, but of course that was only through 1 points finish. So,
Yeah. So we'll just, I suppose, to answer that question better, we'll have to see what happens in Melbourne.
do you think they'll be at on the grid? Because some people are saying they might not even be on the grid.
I reckon they will. To be honest, I mean they wouldn't have gone through so much to not be on the grid, but who knows? This is Formula One,
Yeah,
and anything does happen.
that's true.
So next team is it?
McLaren.
Yep, so McLaren. So they've got a new lineup for this year in Magnussen and Button, and Magnussen's Formula Renault 3.5 champion of last year. Won quite a lot of races in that, and you know I reckon he'll be quite a good fit into that team. I think it might be a little bit confusing because their helmets I think are quite similar.
Are they?
So to the I think he's got a blue and red helmet, Magnussen.
Oh.
So to the casual viewer,
What, like
Yeah.
the Hamilton Rosberg thing?
yeah. To the
Yeah.
casual viewer, it might be a bit confusing, but I reckon you'll pick it up over the season.
Oh, don't
But-
worry, we have over the driver numbers now.
Oh yeah, so numbers are going to be pretty good. Do you know? I don't know. This is a bit of a random thing to ask in the middle of this video, but are they like? Can they be able to like style it differently? Like in MotoGP, they can style it differently, so it doesn't just have to be.
I don't think so. I think it'll be
Oh.
like I think it'll be like the ones you currently see on the cars, where it's like
Mm.
it's like their team's font or whatever they've got on the side.
Yeah,
I think it'll be that. I don't think they'll be able to put number. I can't remember. I don't know many MotoGP drivers, so
yeah,
I'm not an expert at that. But yeah, I think it'll be just the team's kind of livery font thing.
yeah. Bit unfortunate, but you know I can see why. So, what do you think about this McLaren lineup? Do you think it's better than last year, or
I'm
on
not really
par?
sure whether it's better than last year because I mean, although Magnussen may be he may have great potential. We've never seen him race a Grand Prix before. He's going into McLaren, which, well, until last season, were one of the top teams challenging.
Yeah,
And of course, he's alongside Jenson Button, who is very well established, very well respected. Last world champion before Vettel. Which, how he's doing compared to Button? Because I mean, apparently the McLaren team was saying that because Button's not very good in qualifying, and that Perez didn't do that much better than Button in qualifying
yeah,
or the race, as in Perez was way down the point compared to Button.
yeah.
Which is why Perez was dropped. But I mean, drafting in someone who's never raced a Grand Prix before, I think it's a bit risky, especially going into 2014.
Mm.
But then again, 2014 could even be just a transitional year for McLaren going into Honda
Yeah.
engine. So, yeah, it could just be preparing for 2015.
It could be a good thing in a way that like every driver's gonna not know next year's car very well,
Yeah,
so it might be a bit more of a level playing field. But
yeah, that's true.
the best drivers like Vettel, Alonso, whoever you want to say, is like the top 5 in the sport, they're going to be able to adapt to that before qualifying. To be honest, they're
Do
going
you
to
think? Do you think they'll be top again?
What do you mean, Red Bull? Or,
No, McLaren back at the top, at the sharp end.
it's hard to say. It's so hard to say because last year I predicted Button was going to be champion, and that obviously
yeah.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
So they've got a better chance this year at being close to the front, but McLaren have never been at the back. I think this is probably one of their worst seasons ever. I can't say for sure, but I think it is.
Yeah.
So I reckon they'll be higher up the field, but I'm not sure. I think they'll probably be around Lotus area. So
What, just getting podiums and stuff?
yeah.
The occasional
So
win.
we'll see what happens, I suppose. But it's so hard to predict right now as we're recording this. But
Yeah.
you know, as the Jerez test comes up later this month in Bahrain and Australia, in about I don't know, about 2 months, I think.
We can't take much from those tests, though, can we?
No, I don't think you have
Russell
to
got
take
that
much.
time on the first day, and everyone was like, "Whoa, he's like 8 tenths ahead of Webber.
Yeah.
Watch out!" McLaren is going to be the best when it turns out they were really bad.
Mm.
And I mean, an even more concrete point is that back in 2011, Williams topped the Jerez test, or the Jerez test. Sorry, I keep on pronouncing it wrong. The Jerez tests. They topped it, Williams, and then they went on to have their worst ever season in Formula One.
Yeah. So you can pretty much take nothing from any of the tests. Maybe the last day of Bahrain's second test.
I think you can also tell by the times, because
Yeah.
Mercedes set those times at Catalunya, didn't they, which were better than the pole time in 2012.
Mm.
So I think.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing to talk about. So, well, yeah, I suppose as well. Next year, I think the cars are going to. I think they're going to be slower, aren't they? I don't
Yeah,
really.
I think the horsepower, because it has the turbo, is going to be around the same. But I think the cars have slightly lower top speed, and apparently Pirelli are making slower tyres.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but that's just how it is. But yeah,
All right, so should we move on to the next team, which would be Force India?
our best team.
Yep.
Yeah, Force India is the VJMO. What is it? 7, 6?
Oh, I can't remember. It's 2007 when they
Seven.
started.
7. Yeah, 7. I should know that. Whatever.
No, it's 2008. Sorry, they started. Just to make sure I don't get that wrong in the video.
Wait.
2008 they started. 8, 9. It'll be 7. It'll be 7.
7, yeah, 7. Okay. We have the Hulk returning to Force India after going Sauber for a year, which didn't turn out to be as well as he hoped until the end, which he then had a massive injection of pace in the car.
Yeah.
And then we have the McLaren reject, or that's a bit mean actually. Sergio Perez, who brings a lot of money and has pace actually.
Yeah.
How do you think he'll do? Or they'll do actually?
I think it's Perez's toughest year to get to, perfectly honest, because if he doesn't perform, he's probably going to get kicked out. Because I think Force India are always there. People might say a little bit wrong about 2013, but they're always there to get the best talent available.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know whether, if he just completely gets demolished by Hulkenberg, whether they'll keep him, I don't know, to be perfectly honest. So, do you want to talk much more about Force India? I know it's your favourite team, so...
Well, I hope they really do well, but that's because I'm very biased. I hope they're at the top, ahead of Red Bull and everyone. But realistically, I don't think that will happen. I think they might be one of the teams, like along with Sauber, who will get their chance.
Yeah.
Or maybe Williams as well, who get their chance to have some really good results, at least at the start of the season. But of course we'll see, because it's impossible to know, so I don't know how the cars are going to be.
Yeah, so should we talk about Sauber? I mean, this video's getting on quite long, so...
We're going to hurry it up, are we?
Yeah, so Sauber, they've confirmed both their drivers a bit later than everyone else, but Sutil and Gutierrez. I mean, I think both of us are sort of fans of Sutil.
Yeah.
So, I personally think that's a good lineup. I don't know really whether they, Dresta maybe, but I don't know. I think Sutil probably a bit more consistent. I don't think that may be what Sauber are looking for. I don't really know, to be honest, but I think Sutil brings more money than Dresta as well.
It's Medion, isn't it, that brings the money with the...
Yeah, and I think Capri-Sun as well, so it's got quite a few large sponsors, so Gutierrez, what would you say about him? I mean, we all know Sutil.
I think he'll carry on improving.
Yeah.
I think that Sutil would be better than him, but not that much better.
Maybe by the end of the season, maybe
they'll be equal, I would have thought.
We saw Gutierrez really quite fast at the end of this season. last season. I don't know. I keep thinking it's 2013 still, but
Yes,
so Gutierrez was improving all the time. I think is it 6th or 7th he finished in Japan, right behind Hulkenberg. So
I can't remember.
he drove good there. I think he did drive well other places, but he was quite unlucky getting involved in accidents. And I suppose as a rookie, you don't really pick up as much. Yeah. So Sauber, what would you say their target is? Force India? Or?
6th in the standings, would have thought.
So I guess that's fighting with Force India.
Well, Force India will be at the top. Okay, it would be fighting with Force India. Also.
But they did. I think I can't remember whether it's Sauber or Force India. But one of them saying that this is their year to be at the front if they're ever going to be.
It's an opportunity because the regulations were set in stone, and Adrian Newey was absolutely phenomenal with the previous regulations.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got that guy back at Ferrari. I forgot his name.
James Allison?
No. The guy who did the Schumacher years.
Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember that far back.
But he's come back for the 2014 project around a year ago.
Alright.
And he's the guy who won, all those titles.
Yeah.
So we could see a Newey versus whatever his name is. I think is it Byrne? No.
Oh, it could be. I don't know. You can leave it in the comments, guys, because we don't know right now. So, should we move on to the next team?
Toro Rosso. Of course, they've got Jean-Eric Vergne, who's now the team leader, and I don't understand this because for me, Toro Rosso is meant to be like a training team, isn't it, for Red Bull? But Vergne now has no way to get in there.
Unless they sack Ricciardo off 1 year. But I can't really see that happening.
But he is alongside...
Kvyat.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay. The Russian, I don't know, he was a surprise announcement because most people were expecting Da Costa.
Yeah.
But I literally have no idea how fast he is. Literally not.
Well, I don't know, I've been watching GP3, the end of the season he pretty much dominated it.
Did he?
Yeah, he won the GP3 championship. He's looked fast. He hasn't had much time in an F1 car, but I don't know whether you watched Brazil free practice.
No.
But I think he was 8th in the rain. Yeah, he was 8th, and he was quite far ahead of Vergne, I think. I don't know whether that's anything to go by, but he looks quite fast in a Formula 1 car. And, I think I wanted Da Costa, but maybe for Toro Rosso this might have actually been the best choice, so however much I don't want to say that.
Yeah. Well, I think that Toro Rosso won't have the chance, I don't think, like Force India or Sauber.
Do you think that's because they've got another team in the sport, and
I think they'll be held back, if anything, but I don't think they'll be up at the top, or
I think
near the podium or whatever. I don't think so.
They might get like a surprise 6th or a surprise 5th in there if one of them has a really good race.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, I
don't think there'll be any podium visits or anything.
But who knows? They might be the fastest car on the grid.
It might be, yeah. But Red Bull would steal their designs, wouldn't they?
Yeah. So next team on the grid is Williams. I think coming off pretty much another one of their worst seasons ever.
Yeah.
Scoring, was it 5 points?
Yeah, I think it was 4 for Bottas, 1 for Maldonado.
So a pretty torrid year for them. I think you like Williams a bit as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
So we're both fans of Williams, and I think it was a bit disappointing to see them go from winning races in winning a race in 2012 to even being behind Caterham and Marussia at the start of races. They seem to be pretty bad at their starts and everything. So I don't know what happened to Williams, to be perfectly honest, but it's obviously the British team, I suppose you'd call it.
Yeah, I would.
Actually, behind McLaren.
Force India.
There's too many British teams now, not half the grid. So, yeah, I want to see Williams do well. They've got Bottas, GP3 champion, Massa, multiple-time race winner. What do you think is going to come out of that team? Obviously, with Mercedes engine now.
Well, I think they scored a great deal with getting Felipe Massa. Yeah, that was a great deal for them. Because, well, to be honest, I thought he was heading out the sport.
Yeah, same.
But, he he's a really good driver. We know that from his time with Alonso. Although he hasn't matched Alonso, but Alonso's revered as being the best or one of the best in the sport. So, yeah, and he's matched him on a lot of occasions. So I think that Williams scored a great deal with Massa and Bottas alongside. I think he's still got some learning to do in terms of just the pace and maybe setting up the car. Maybe that was one of his problems last season, because he was beaten by Maldonado on a few occasions. But we'll see. But it depends on the car as well, because Williams haven't been very good in the past few seasons, except for 2012.
They seem to have like one good year and then one bad year. Like 2010, they get a pole position. 2011, a bad year. 2012, get a win. Maybe it's their year to shine.
Yeah, maybe they'll win the World Championship. Massa will finally win that World Championship.
So, yeah, I mean, go from pole, win, championship's the next step.
Yep.
So, you know, Williams having big things ahead, but I think Marussia is going to be a team you're going to want to watch out for next year, in my opinion, if they pick the right driver.
Yep.
Because this year they did have last year they had a solid enough car to be matching Caterham from time to time, which I don't think they'd really ever done before.
No.
And definitely Marussia's best year by far. Chilton finishing every race, if you love him or hate him, he finished every single race, which is an achievement, I suppose.
Yeah,
and Bianchi, was it getting a 30th in Malaysia?
Yeah, I was quite lucky though, but yeah.
Yeah, so that secured them the championship there. I think from the last probably like 15 races, I think Caterham were quite noticeably faster, but the one race that count, they beat them. So obviously, when we're recording this, which is the 8th, just to let you know,
long recording.
They're still it's long recording.
I need to go soon.
So there's one Marussia seat left. If you had to say one person, who would that be?
Chilton.
All right. So should we move on to Caterham then, if you've got to go?
I don't have to go immediately, but yeah.
All right.
I need to go.
So Caterham, they've got 2 seats left.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were expecting Kovalainen to come back, Van der Garde to stay. I think that's a big rumour. Pete to go somewhere, maybe a test drive role or something.
Pete was really good compared to Van der Garde in the first 5 races of the season, and it made Van der Garde look quite bad. But then Van der Garde, especially near the end of the season, was just outracing Pete like every single race and out qualifying him.
I honestly think Van der Garde, I think he deserves to stay in the sport. I mean, it'd be quite disappointing, especially I think for a lot of people in the Netherlands that have never really had a very successful Formula 1 driver. I think it would be nice to see him stay into.
I think.
I can't remember. I think there are a couple of names that stick in my head, but I can't remember whether they got any good results. But it'd be nice to see him stay in sport, maybe promote Netherlands, and hopefully maybe get into a top seat if he keeps performing at that sort of rate. But okay, if you want to throw 2 names in the hat to get a Caterham seat, what would you say?
Van der Garde and Ericsson.
Alright, I'll agree with that, because I think they need a bit of money, and I think they both bring in a decent amount of money, so I'll agree with that. And I think I'll agree with you what you said about Marussia as well with Chilton. So I think we've got a couple more things to talk about, but obviously we don't want to spend too much time. So I just run through the calendar quickly.
I think you run through the changes, don't you? The calendar's quite similar for a lot of it.
Alright, so just go through the changes of it, do you say? Sorry.
Yeah, changes.
Alright, so Bahrain's ahead of China. That's a change.
Yeah.
Night race.
It's a night race.
Oh yeah, and a night race. Sorry. And Austria's the 8th round, which is ahead of Britain. Obviously Germany goes to Hockenheim again. Sochi, Russia is after Japan in the 16th round, and Abu Dhabi is the final race of the season. And still double points, I think, as we record this.
Apparently it's not set in stone, but if it does happen, it's a bit disappointing, if I'm honest. It makes it a bit gimmicky as well.
So, should we wrap this up and predict a 2014 World Champion right here, right now?
Okay then. Also, I just want to say that I'm sure that Alex is going to put the for my channel in the description.
Yeah, I'll link it on the screen and everything. So.
And I'd appreciate if you came over and had a look and then subscribe if you like what you said.
Yeah, actually, before we do the champion, how many subscribers are you away from your next landmark so we can try and hit that?
Well, I'm on 336 last time I looked.
Alright, that's a bit of a far stretch, but let's try and get Alex to 400.
Well, that's if you've been watching this long. We should have done at the beginning.
Yeah, well, I'll put it in the description as well. If anyone is watching this point, thank you. But we'll try and get you to 400 subscribers in the comments or in the description. So let's predict the champion.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
No, you can go first.
All right, this is not going to be fun because it's going to be wrong. I can tell. All right, so.
Guess better then.
that's an easy choice. It's so tough to choose. I'm going to say Jenson Button again.
I'm going to say Vettel because that's what will happen, always does.
Alright, so we'll end that one here then. Thanks for tuning in to about 35 minutes, I think, or so. So remember to go and check out Alex's channel in the description or on the screen. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's been Alex and Alex out here. Goodbye.